The Journey of Aaron and the Lost City of Eloria. Chapter 1. The Discovery. Aaron was not an ordinary young man. Born in the quiet village of Eloria, he was known for his boundless curiosity and adventurous spirit. He spent his days exploring the forests and caves surrounding his village, always in search of something extraordinary. His father, a renowned archaeologist, had filled his head with tales of ancient civilizations and forgotten treasures. These stories ignited a spark in Aaron that grew into an unquenchable flame. One fateful day, while exploring a cave he had never visited before, Aaron stumbled upon a hidden chamber. The walls were covered in strange, intricate carvings that seemed to tell the story. At the center of the chamber was a pedestal, and on it rested an ancient scroll. The scroll was brittle and covered in dust, but Aaron carefully unrolled it, revealing a map and a series of symbols that he recognized from his father's studies. Aaron's heart raced with excitement. He knew he had found something of immense importance. He quickly made his way back to his village, eager to show his discovery to his father. Chapter 2. The Map. Aaron's father, Professor Hadrian, was astonished when he saw the scroll. "This is incredible, Aaron," he said, his voice filled with awe. "These symbols, they belong to the lost civilization of Eloria." Eloria was a legendary city said to have been a center of knowledge and magic, lost to history after a great cataclysm. Many had searched for it, but none had succeeded. The map on the scroll appeared to show the location of Eloria, hidden deep within the uncharted territories beyond the Great Desert. "We must go there," Aaron said, his eyes shining with determination. "We have to find Eloria." Hadrian nodded, his own excitement mirroring his son's. "Yes, but we must prepare carefully. The journey will be long and dangerous." For weeks, they gathered supplies and recruited a small team of trusted companions. There was Mira, a skilled healer with knowledge of ancient lore, Kael, a seasoned warrior with unmatched combat skills, and Lyra, an expert tracker who could navigate even the most treacherous terrain. Chapter 3. The Great Desert. The journey began with a trek across the Great Desert, a vast expanse of sand and scorching heat. The team traveled by night to avoid the daytime temperatures, guided by the stars and the map on the ancient scroll. The desert was unforgiving with its endless dunes and fierce sandstorms, but they pressed on, driven by the hope of discovering Eloria. Mira's healing skills were put to the test as she treated sunburns and dehydration, while Kale kept a vigilant watch for any threats. One night, as they were resting in a makeshift camp, they heard a low, rumbling sound. The ground began to shake, and they realized they were in the path of a massive sandstorm. They quickly packed their belongings and sought shelter behind a large dune. The storm raged for hours, the wind howling like a banshee. When it finally passed, they emerged from their hiding place to find that the landscape had completely changed. The dunes had shifted, and their path was obscured. "We can't give up now," Aaron said, his voice filled with determination. "We must keep going." Using the map and Lyra's tracking skills, they navigated the altered terrain and eventually reached the edge of the desert. Ahead of them lay a dense jungle, its thick foliage a stark contrast to the barren desert they had just crossed. Chapter 4. The Jungle. The jungle was alive with the sounds of exotic birds and the rustling of unseen creatures. The air was thick with humidity, and the ground was covered in a dense carpet of leaves and vines. It was a stark contrast to the desert, but no less challenging. As they made their way through the jungle, they encountered all manner of dangers. Poisonous plants, venomous snakes, and treacherous terrain tested their resolve at every turn. But they also discovered the jungle's beauty, with its vibrant flowers and crystal-clear streams. One evening, as they were setting up camp, they heard a strange, melodic sound. Following the sound, they came upon a clearing where a group of indigenous people were gathered around a fire, singing and dancing. The leader of the tribe, an elderly woman with kind eyes, welcomed them warmly. Through a series of gestures and broken words, they communicated their purpose. The woman, who introduced herself as Talia, seemed to recognize the symbols on the scroll. "The city you seek," she said, pointing to the map, "is not far, but it is protected by powerful magic. Only those deemed worthy can enter." Talia agreed to guide them to the outskirts of the lost city. The next day, she led them through the dense jungle, sharing stories of her people and their history. As they traveled, Aaron felt a growing sense of anticipation and unease. What would they find in Eloria? Would they be able to unlock its secrets? Chapter 5. The Trials of Eloria. At last, they arrived at the edge of the jungle, where the ruins of Eloria lay hidden beneath a thick canopy of vines and moss. The entrance to the city was marked by a grand archway, adorned with the same symbols that had led them there. As they stepped through the archway, they felt a powerful surge of magic. The air shimmered with energy, and the ruins seemed to come to life. The ancient city was a maze of crumbling buildings and overgrown pathways, but there was an undeniable sense of grandeur and mystery. Their first challenge came in the form of a series of puzzles and traps designed to test their intelligence and resourcefulness. Each puzzle was more difficult than the last, but Aaron's team worked together, using their unique skills to solve them. In one chamber, they faced a riddle that required them to translate an ancient inscription. Mira's knowledge of ancient languages proved invaluable, and they deciphered the message just in time to avoid a trap. In another, they encountered a series of enchanted statues that came to life and attacked them. Kale's combat skills were put to the test as he fought off the stone guardians, while the others provided support. Finally, they reached the heart of the city, where the true test awaited them. A massive door, covered in intricate carvings, barred their way. The carvings depicted scenes from the history of Eloria, and at the center was a depiction of the enchanted crown, the key to unlocking the city's secrets. Chapter 6. The Enchanted Crown. As they studied the door, Aaron noticed a series of indentations that matched the symbols on the scroll. Carefully, they placed the scroll in the center of the door, and with a rumbling sound, it began to open. Beyond the door lay a grand chamber filled with the glow of magical artifacts and ancient relics. At the center of the chamber, on a pedestal, rested the enchanted crown. It was a magnificent piece of craftsmanship, adorned with jewels and inscribed with powerful runes. As Aaron approached the crown, a voice echoed through the chamber. It was the voice of the ancient guardians of Eloria, who had protected the city for centuries. "Only the worthy may claim the crown," the voice intoned. "Prove your worth." Suddenly, the chamber was filled with a blinding light, and Aaron found himself in a vision. He was standing in the midst of a great battle, facing the forces of darkness that sought to destroy Eloria. His companions were by his side, fighting valiantly. Aaron felt a surge of power and determination. He realized that the true test was not just physical strength or intelligence, but the strength of their hearts and their unity as a team. Together, they fought off the darkness, their combined efforts overcoming the seemingly insurmountable odds. When the vision faded, Aaron was back in the chamber, the crown glowing brightly before him. He reached out and took the crown, feeling its power course through him. Chapter 7. The Return. With the enchanted crown in their possession, the team made their way back through the jungle and across the desert, their journey home filled with a sense of triumph and fulfillment. The trials they had faced had tested them in ways they had never imagined, but they had emerged stronger and more united than ever. As they approached Eloria, they were greeted with cheers and celebrations. The villagers had heard of their quest and were overjoyed at their return. Professor Hadrian was especially proud of his son, his eyes filled with tears of joy. "The crown will bring peace and prosperity to our land," Hadrian said, his voice choked with emotion. "You have done something truly remarkable, Aaron." Aaron smiled, feeling a deep sense of satisfaction. But he also knew that their journey was just the beginning. There were still many mysteries to uncover and challenges to face. With the support of his friends and the power of the enchanted crown, he was ready to take on whatever the future held. Chapter 8. The Council of Elders. With the return of the enchanted crown, the Council of Elders, the ruling body of Eloria, convened to discuss its implications for the kingdom. The council was made up of wise and respected leaders from various regions, each bringing their unique perspectives and expertise. Aaron, his father Hadrian, and the rest of the team were invited to present their findings and share their experiences. The grand hall where the council met was filled with an air of anticipation and excitement. Elder Thalia, the head of the council, began the meeting with a solemn tone. "We gather here today to acknowledge the incredible achievement of these brave adventurers.